Hi, my name is Beverly, and following on from my last video where I was plying some fibres from a company called Crafty Fibres, I then washed the hanks and balled them up, and then I worked them into different strands to make an item. So here is the examples of what I've knitted. So this is a knitted in stocking stitch, and this is the silk and camel. This one here I've crocheted, and then through the holes in the crochet I've threaded through some alpaca, which Crafty Fibres also sell, and I spun earlier, so that gives a bit of a nice contrast. And then this section is an I-cord that has been knitted in the silk and camel, and it has quite a twist to it, so it gives it a bit of texture. These strands here are from silk and alpaca. This one is knitted in a garter stitch. This one is a stocking stitch, but it's only narrow, so it's curled, but I haven't done it as an I-cord. I just quite like the natural curl on it. And then this one is a single chain, so it's been crocheted, again just as a contrast to the other two strands. This worked piece is from the hank of silk and alpaca and the silk and camel plied together. It's hard to say, is that? So those two have been plied together, so you get the beige and the grey with the silk, and this again is it just knitted in a straight stocking stitch. Again, not an I-cord, I've just left it open and let it curl. So I'm going to complete my item by making one more strand, and I'm going to use a provisional cast on. So I'm going to use two strands for the provisional cast on. One is the strand that of the colour that I want to use for the main knit, and one is just a strand that you just use to cast on and it gets removed later. I like to use quite a contrasting colour because it's a lot easier to see. So I'm going to hold the yarn, and then the needle that I'm using to cast on goes under, over and through, under, over and through, under, over and through. So I've got about 4 stitches there, and I'm going to work into those 4 stitches. I just find it easier with this cast on just to start off on a double pointed needles, but you don't have to do that. And I'm just going to make a simple garter stitch strand. And what this by using a provisional cast on, it means that you can remove the coloured strand at the end, and I use a 3 needle bind off so that the join in the loop is very hardly visible. It just makes it a neater ending. So here is the garter stitch, and you can see the purple thread along the first row, cast on row, and those are the stitches there which you can then pick up to do the cast off when you bind it off with the end of the knitting. So I've completed all the different rows of fibre, and I've held them all together with a garter stitch loop just to hold it all in place, because I've intertwined some of them. I'm going to place it on my model. Now this is Scary Gladys. I find her very scary, but anyway, she does look better with a hat on. So I'm just going to arrange that on her. I'm going to put her a hat on because she scares me too much. There we go, that's better. Alright, so it's just a case of arranging the different layers. I've tried this on and it actually feels very warm and very light. It's a lovely thing to wear, and it's great fun to kind of create. I've not used a pattern for this. I've just made it up as I've gone along, just trying to introduce different textures, and within the range of kind of 4 colours, just to arrange them and just have fun really. I've made some little crocheted flowers, and I've put a little bead in the middle of them. I've made 5 of them because I think it just needed a little bit more decoration. So I'm just going to work out now where they go and just sew those in place. So I've attached 4 of the flowers. I'm just going to do the 5th. So I've finished the flower in the middle, so I can just use that strand which is already attached to the flower to attach it to the scarf, or cowl rather. I'm just going to catch it through. There we go. Just finish that off at the back so you can't see the knot. Because this strand curls, it disguises where your final join is. There we go. So that's my finished item from Fibre from Crafty Fibres. And I really like the way that you get the shine of the grey and the silk in the grey, and then you get almost the matte of the camel. It's very light and warm to wear, and I'm really pleased with that.